Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you. It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Time marches on, people and places change. Such is the case with life, except in the world of classic Azeroth, where I've been spending the past couple of months. For those who don't know, I've been AFK from YouTube for a while in pursuit of rank 14. PvP, get honor, and sleep for a few months until you can finally say that I've obtained rank 14 in the recreation of a 15-year-old video game so people can awkwardly stare at you. I've yet to use it as a pickup line in bars, but I've worked out every possible scenario in my head, and theoretically, I have a 100% success rate. Throughout the process though, one question has cropped up again and again, and that's, is it worth it? No. Thanks for watching, like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today.
Okay. I guess I'll at least try to give my personal take on it all. It really is an open-ended question though, because your experience will vary so wildly. Can you find a steady group? Is that group good? Are the people fun to play with, or are they miserable? What battleground are you doing? What raid tier are you doing the grind in? What faction are you? And how sweaty is your server? There are 1,000 different variables that can make or break the experience for anyone, but in this video I'll share mine and talk about the good,
GG.
the bad,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That shit happens. You're not gonna win every fucking game.
and the ugly.
Fucking shit! I'm so pissed off right now.
I'll share some tips and just talk because it's been a bit since we've done that. Well, let me first explain what the rank 14 grind is, since I'm sure not everyone really understands the gravity of what it really is. Basically, in the game, there are PvP ranks. To rank up, you kill other players, from kills you get honor, and depending on how much honor you get compared to other people on your server of your faction, you get what are called ranking points, or RP. Every week you gain a certain amount, but you also decay 20%, so naturally the higher rank you are, the more points you decay, and the more you have to PvP. Just from that, it sounds pretty straightforward, but it was without a doubt the most time-consuming grind I've ever done in any game I've ever played, and I was born with the controller in my hands. Wah. All in all, from rank 0 to 14, it's around 3 months. Hours per day can range from around 6-ish to maybe 16-ish. This number varies on what server you're on, how much you win, what battleground you're doing, and what faction you are, and so on and so forth. I'm on Fairlena Alliance, which is pretty competitive as far as Alliance is concerned. Bracket 1, 2, and 3 caps typically ranged from 900, 800, and 700,000 respectively, so pretty sweaty in the grand scheme of things. In total, from start to finish, I probably put in around 800 hours, but I didn't actually track that officially. That would have been way too depressing, but it's somewhere around there. The Arathi Basin was my battleground of choice. I decided this was the best choice for me because as much as I like Warsong Gulch, it doesn't have a timer in Classic, so pretty often you'll get into those super sweaty matches where both flags are on the roof, and you're trying to break that impossible roof defense for an hour. It's competitive, and it can be fun sometimes, but in the big picture, inefficient if your goal is to grind honor. As you can see, I did track my games here. 2100 total at a 98% win rate. There are about 1,000 more that I did before I installed this add-on, so call it around 3,000 total. Be prepared to spend a huge amount of gold. Free action potions, limited invulnerability potions, goblin sapper charges. You choose time or money with ranking, not both. And to get into a pre-made that's actually good, you need to spend gold. In total, from start to finish, I'd say for me it was at least 5,000 to 7,000. In preparation for the grind, I actually leveled a bunch of characters to 35 just for the transmutes, which kept me stocked up, but if you don't have that, it's just more time that you have to invest in farming and making sure that you're keeping up. All of this is part of the grind, unless you just wing it, and you float between bad pre-mades, because good ones will notice and give you the boot if you're slacking on consumes. The fact of the matter is the meta of classic PvP revolves around these consumes. They become a part of your class toolkit, and you need them to win tough games. I finished my grind right before the AQ release, where a lot of the gear actually gets replaced. The Dark Edge of Insanity is way better than the GM Claymore, but I didn't even really do it for the gear. It's just something that I wanted to do. As for the games themselves, it was fairly competitive. For the first bit of the grind, it was just a lot of pug stomping and 10-man pre-mades. The Horde had longer queues, so their meta was to weave in Warsong and Arathi, so we get a lot of 10-man teams. For the second half though, the Horde queue times decreased, and the meta shifted to full 15-mans, and it was a mix. Some teams were hot garbage, some cold garbage, and some pretty good. I'd say if there's one takeaway that I got from the grind, is that the PvP isn't the hard part, it's the politics. You have to keep in mind, this is a 3-month investment. The people you're going to be playing with are basically virtual roommates, and whether you like it or not, you're going to be spending a lot of time with them every single day for 3 months. So naturally, if you find a good group of friends who are fun to play with, you're going to have fun, and if you find a group of toxic degenerates, you're not going to have fun. Throughout my grind, I certainly ran into both, but luckily for me, it's mostly the former. One of the skills I picked up in life is quickly identifying and shutting out toxic a-holes. I lucked out pretty good, but there were plenty of other teams and players who, from what I could tell, were just miserable from start to finish. Drama left and right, meltdowns on the daily. It's like a reality TV show, and I was seriously thinking of making a series called Behind the Honor covering it all. But I decided against it since I just want to distance myself from it at this point. If I wanted though, I have enough material for at least 20 episodes. It was actually crazy. This person hates that person, death threats, stalking, drug lords, sabotage, hospital visits. If there's one thing I learned, it's that the PvP community in Classic is probably one of the wildest, angriest, and most toxic communities I've ever been a part of. Like I said, lucky for me, for the most part, I fell in with a cool group, but 3 months is a long time to be going through that stuff, and what separates a good team from a bad team isn't even necessarily win rate, it's how you react to losses. Do you approach it in a constructive manner and see how you could improve as a team? Do you handle criticism well? Or do you single people out, put the loss on their shoulders, and refuse to accept that sometimes the other team just played better, or they wanted it more? Throughout your grind, you'll meet people of all walks of life, and to answer the question of is it worth it is largely going to depend on who you play with. It's a roller coaster of a grind that has high highs and low lows. There would be days where we're having the times of our lives, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and the very next day you're on the verge of quitting. I bounced between both places many times. There were days where I didn't want to stop, and there were days where I just had to turn off the computer and walk away. The worst it gets is when you reach the ladder stage, but you just can't afford it. You need to stay on and grind honor or you'll derank, and it's this scenario is what burns people out. Crazy enough, substance abuse was pretty rampant. I know plenty of people who daily popped IRL consumes to help them get through the grind. I can't be too specific due to YouTube's mass censorship, but I know people who would put Scarface to shame. I'm probably sounding dramatic, but it's true. It's just such a long and time-consuming grind that people will go to any lengths to make it easier. It actually gets to a point where it affects your state of mind. When you do something so time-consuming for so long, and you reach your honor goal for the week, you just feel off. It's like, I should be PvPing right now. What the F do I do with my life now? I'm still getting out of that phase myself, as I try to transition back to normalcy. I started dreaming about the Arathi Basin a month or so into the grind, only having a 2-cap and unable to break the dreaded holy trinity of farm, lumbermill, and blacksmith. Or like when you have a nightmare and you're incapable of basic actions, like you try to punch but you can't lift your arm. I had dreams where it's an intense game and I'm guarding a point, and I see someone taking a flag right in front of me, and I just sit there watching and everyone yells at me. Your life becomes wake up, grind honor, sleep, then you wake up, grind honor, and sleep until you hit your goal or your breaking point. I unironically had to increase the amount of times I bathed per day because the gamer stench was just getting too strong. On an unrelated note, I'd like to announce the release of the official MadSeasonShow Rank 14 bathwater. That's right, this isn't your ordinary bathwater. Gamer girls beware, because there's a new kid on the block. This bathwater has been FDA approved and proven to increase your gaming power. Ugh. That smells rank. Rank 14, that is. Reservers today. All in all, the rumors you heard of the rank 14 grind are true. At least it was for my server. It's a long and grueling grind. The amount of people who finish it in its entirety compared to those who start it are incredibly small. I've seen bright-eyed PvPers ready to take on the world. They got their monster and Doritos, they have time off from work or school, and they're gonna power it out. And they're broken in just a few weeks once they discover what it really is. They discover that PvP isn't the hard part. Rather, it's more of that political aspect of finding a solid team of people who aren't miserable to play with, dodging drama, and having the fortitude of being able to play 10 hours a day, every day, for 3 months. So, what do you get for all of this? Other than depression, is purples. Pretty good ones, depending on the class. I'm a warrior myself, which is probably the class that benefits most from the gear. The armor is insane. Some are best in slot, even for an extremis, I think. You have a wide selection of weapons to choose from, everything is just loaded with stamina, and as an added bonus, the armor is actually stronger than it should be. In the original run, there were 2 versions of the PvP armor, and they buffed it in patch 1.1, but in the re-release, it released with the buffed versions, so you're able to get it earlier than originally designed, which is just broken. But, to finally answer the question, is it worth it? If you're talking about just the gear, in my opinion, no it isn't. It's good, and by the time you get it, you'll have played so much you should at least be proficient in PvP, but the amount of hours required and the politics you have to go through, to me, even as the optimal class, it isn't worth it. Above everything, money, things, status, wiener size, time reigns supreme. You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't weigh it, you can't measure it in a laboratory. It's a subjective sense of becoming what we are instead of what we were a nanosecond ago, and becoming what we will be in another nanosecond. It's always lost and never gained. You spend it with every breath you take, and the people, places, or things lost to it are lost. But the gear isn't the only takeaway here. I feel that just like 15 years ago, how I met people I still talk to today, I met more who I'll talk to 15 years from now when they re-release BFA Classic and everybody grinds Azurite instead of Honor. You can't put a price on friendship, and throughout the grind, I had so many people whispering me and cheering me on, other streamers, other players, PvPers. It just reinforced the main reason why I think the game is great. There's an actual community, and you feel a part of it, and while there are a lot of people who are just there to be negative, there are also those who just want to see you succeed. It's such a variable thing though. I think overall, considering the friends I've made, it was worth it for me. But I know a lot of people who are miserable from start to finish, or they lost friends in the process. I mean, how often have you heard the story of someone grinding out rank 14, and within a couple of weeks they've quit the game due to burnout? It's asking a lot to invest so much time into something, and expect not to be burnt out by the time you finish. From my personal impression, the people who do it either A, have an extreme love for the game, and they're willing to invest that time, or B, they have some problem in real life that they're trying to put off, so losing themselves in the grind seems like a good escape. I'm not trying to play an armchair psychologist here, but from my personal experience, sadly, this is what I've encountered. It was definitely an interesting experience. A lot of people called me crazy for it, but hey man, when I say that I love this game, I mean it. I'm just at the point in my life where I do what I want to do, and I don't do what I don't want to do. It's a simple thing, but I feel like people in general relinquish this basic right too easily. I mean what I say. I wanted to get rank 14, so I got rank 14. And to the pre-mades who actually lost or won with grace, good games. You guys know who you are, and thank you for breaking the monotony with some fun and intense games, and good luck to you with the rest of your ranking. So, the next question is, what now? Well, now I can finally play the game. I'll be much more active here on YouTube, of course, and a bit less so on Twitch, but still around to say hi. But until then, like the fucking video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.